Hello, and thank you so much for joining me tonight on your Smackdown post show for October 3rd. What's going on? Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats, and most importantly, get in your this is because Shotzi has given Sean Ross Sapp a stone cold stunner, which she is. She is one of those too. So Sean was, I think it was the Revolver show, I believe. Myron Reed and Killer Kelly were having their wedding. He was there to officiate and he ran into some trouble. So I asked, thank you, Shotzi. Justified thank you, Shotzi chants in the chat today. But we're going to talk about SmackDown. We had a very, very, very busy week on Fightful Select and a busy day as well. I'll give you a bit of a rundown on that too, because actually some of it involves our friend who was in the main event, Bronson Reed. So we're going to talk about that and more. We will remind you to subscribe to Fightful Select. News on Bronson Reed and what his contract situation is right now and what the future is looking like for him in WWE. News about Saray and her working in the U.S. News about everyone wondering what the hell Booker T was talking about when he said Jade Cargill was fresh out of AEW. She's been in WWE for 2 years now. So we've got plenty to talk about. I'm just going to go ahead and take care of some social media stuff. I'm a lone wolf today, so taking care of some things, but get in those super chats and humper chats as I worry about some social media duties that we take care of here at Fightful. Been on our social media accounts all day trying to update you guys and help you with some stuff. So please follow us on our socials as well. Let me just do a thing. We try to retweet those streams because it helps bump up the views. If you want to do that, that would also be helpful. But I'm going solo today. I had a guest host that canceled and didn't have time to fully replace them, but that's okay. I don't mind doing a solo show sometimes. Gotta go Yankees chants in the chats. Let me tell you, I was pessimistic about this Yankees team, and I was enthused by what I saw yesterday. A star being born in the Bronx made me feel like Yankee days of yore, pretty much. But we're gonna get into all of this and more. We got a question here about Bianca and being back at Survivor Series, or possibly Jade and Tiffany for the title. So we had a huge update today on Fightful Select, and then every day Sean also does a feature called Select Answers, and he's been getting asked about Bianca quite a bit because we thought it was just a broken finger. WWE thought it was just a broken finger, and it has been a much more extensive injury than everyone thought. I don't think he's heard like she's going to be back imminently, but I know she had posted she was like getting back to the gym a little bit ago. She posted a really sweet note from Montez Ford on that. So I hope so. I miss her. I would assume she'd be the one to beat Tiffany at this point, because if it wasn't going to be her, who is it at this point? I feel like she beat just about everybody, but get in those super chats and humper chats. We'll talk about all of that and more. I saw a question about Santos Escobar too. I can't say what's going on to any of that, but I did say to Sean, it might be worth looking into. It might be worth looking into because I had heard some rumors that indicate it might be worth looking into from a status standpoint. Not that he's going anywhere imminently, not that he's going to AEW or anything like that, but just that like this might be in his contract window. So just a rumor from me, though. Sean will get clarity. He is the one with the inside scoop. I just hear things from time to time, but I really, really, really like Santos Escobar. I would be intrigued to see what he could do. CMLL, AEW, a battle of the Super Juniors, whatever. Like I would love to see Santos. I just want to see him on my screen doing meaningful work. That's it. That's it. But we're gonna talk some SmackDown. We had a women's segment that is going to make me crash out. I'll tell you about that. This Kiana James nonsense is going to make me crash out. But we had some good stuff in here too. I really liked this version of Cody that we're getting much more than we've gotten before. He's a little less melodramatic. He feels a little more poised as a champion. So we're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all. Some good and some bad. Some good and some bad today. But I want to know what you guys think. So chat at me because I'm flying solo today. I'm flying solo today. Big Jim, who we love around these parts, saying, I think we have a winner of your Friday Open Challenge, Kate. Our OTK should be joined by OP Kate, the original puppet Kate. Let me see if I can bring her to life real quick. Most of you have been following the saga by now, but I don't know if everybody has seen that she's arrived yet. She's here. Our puppets arrived this week, me and Alex Pulowski's. The too long don't read of it all is that Sean said he would get us custom puppets of ourselves if we reviewed Freddy Got Fingered, which we did for 3.5 hours, the longest review in history. So that's why I have a puppet. This is a less gimmicky show than our Tuesday show, though, if you want more puppet stuff. So FightfulSelect.com, we do a show every Monday, Alex and I, and then Tuesdays on the main. Our NXT show is usually, I would say, off the rails, but you have to be on the rails to get off of them. I will say, I think the hope is that when Cresta is back from hiatus, she'll probably be our long-term replacement for Alexis on the show. I've had fun having guests on, though. We're going to have some more names you love and know, some more people from Fightful, too, in that time. But Great Cherry saying, gonna have to answer this Friday Open Challenge soon. Always great to talk about wrestling, though. Okay, go Bronx Bombers. Yeah, I was a very happy Yankee fan yesterday. Very happy Yankee fan yesterday. There was something about like a young star getting kind of made in the Bronx and a dominant performance over the Red Sox that put me back into the early 2000s, late 90s era. Like, beating the Red Sox always feels good. But like a shutout performance of 8 innings where even Aaron Boone couldn't screw it up. Like, that's an incredible feat. Like, that's how dominant he was that Aaron Boone couldn't even ruin it. That is that is impressive stuff. But let's get into this episode of SmackDown. Some more love coming in from y'all. Orion Ben saying, the TMDK gal has a little wrestling to yap about. Zelta and Soul possibly had their best match. Javon and Phoenix versus Los Garzas was a blast, and let Julia wrestle. My God, are we going to talk about that women's segment? Because I don't know what the hell they think they're doing, but it sucks. But yeah, some good stuff. I would disagree about the Zolruka stuff just because that match was 3.5 minutes long. Nothing wrong with it. But we'll dig into that tonight. I was more disappointed by some of the stuff that happened on the women's side. Like, I don't love the follow-up for Chelsea Green from the title picture. Like, it's been rough. And the fact, we'll talk more. We'll talk, you and I. We'll talk in a bit. But man, sending Kiana James out to be like, Steph Vaquer, actually, you are not a star. And even though you're a world champion and I represent a mid-card champion who has no real meaningful rivalries or matches here, I can help you win this absolutely meaningless title is beyond me. That is some of the worst creative. Like, that's something where I'm like, did you read it back when you put it on a paper? Because that's just stupid, but all right, you know what? Let's start with it. Let's start with that segment. Let's get the crash out of the way early, because then I can move on to things that make me happier. I love seeing Javon Evans on the main roster again. I like a lot of what we got tonight, but let's start with this incredibly stupid thing, because it was incredibly stupid. Perfect Plex saying, I feel like the one thing Tiff Stratton lacks on is her mic skills. Does WWE have coaches dedicating to working on wrestlers' promos? I believe so. I don't know if they do on the main roster. I know that is something that in NXT, they have class specifically for that. They have promo class. They have talent that comes in and helps them. My thinking is she's just much, much, much more comfortable as a heel. Her archetype leans heel. Pretty much her entire time in NXT was spent being a heel. The crowd just kind of turned her face when she was in Perth in that Elimination Chamber match, because they were like, this girl's awesome. She's been tucked away in NXT all this time. Like, let's see more of that. So even like the Tiffy time stuff, it feels heelish. And I think when she waffles, she hasn't quite found the balance of where she's supposed to hit the sweet spot as a babyface for what she's being given, especially for something like this, because Steph is also undeniably a face. So it's a face versus face thing for a meaningless title. It was something that they created for Saudi Arabia, and now they don't even do this PLE in Saudi Arabia because they're giving them Royal Rumble at WrestleMania. So I just feel like part of it is that she's maybe not the most comfortable as a babyface, but part of it is just what she's being given here, because a lot of this has just been not very great. Not very great. So you knew something was up because we just get a peaceful contract signing. I really didn't like last week's segment too, where they just both were like, Tiffy time is going to be over. And she was like, La Primera is going to be number 2. It's like, God, can we get something less surface level? And today they said, no, you cannot, Kate. That is too much to ask for. It was a pretty standard contract signing from the perspective of there was just like a show of respect, but I'm going to win. And Tiffany says, no matter where we are, it's always Tiffy time. And Vaquer says, the best woman will win. And they shake hands. That is boring and bad. And so you knew something was going to come up. And Julia blindsides Tiffany, and Kiana James pitches to Vaquer that they join forces. But Tiffany comes out swigging, runs off the heels, and Tiffany and Vaquer have another stare down to close this out. Kiana James has the unmitigated gall to say, Steph Vaquer, you are not a champion, or you're a star, you're not a superstar. Oh, do I have a co-host that wanted to sneak on? Hi, SP3.
Hello, everyone.
How are you?
I saw your message way too late, so I decided to come late. Come on to come on here a little bit later. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, you walk in and you say something that immediately has to set me up for a Blue Chew segue.
Well, there you go.
If you want to make like SP3 and not come too early.
You dealing with a nosy mailman all up in your business about what you're ordering, what you're getting? Well, don't worry about it with BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. It ships discreetly. Discreetly. Fortunately for you, because the mailman's going to want to know what's going on. He's going to be delivering that mail to your house. He's going to hear all these sounds. He's going to be like, what's going on there? Well, I don't know, because this package doesn't say anything, but I have a feeling the package in there is saying something, and it will be, because of BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. Helps get you that main event performance and confidence. And you get your first shipment free when you go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL. Like I said, same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but much more affordable and in a chewable. Take their online quiz, and then when approved, it ships straight to your door. My gosh. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Mind your own business, mailman.
There are some situations where it's good to be a Johnny-come-lately, and that's one of them. We sound like an MXM promo up on here, but I feel like I'm supposed to be reviewing SP3 or reviewing ROH because we got SP3 here. I'm so excited about this. SP3, how are you? Before we just dive right in here.
I am doing well. I had a day off from streaming today, and Kate messaged me like 2 hours before this show started.
No, you don't.
Do you love yourself, or do you want to review Smackdown with me? And I didn't see it until like 7 minutes remaining left in the show, and I was like, yeah, sure, because I don't love myself. I love my kids. I love my wife. I don't love myself.
No, you do like 100 shows a day. And I was like, do you want to join at 10:10 for Smackdown? And you were like, you know what?
At least it's not 3:10 a.m. to be fair. So
that is true. This is a better shift than your UK shift, I will say. But SP3, we were starting hot because I was feeling ranty. I was getting a little itchy. You know what? I was feeling too good after that Yankee win yesterday. And I was like, something's got to get me hot. Something's got to get me fired up. And then I saw Shotzi give SRS the stunner, and I was like, I can't be mad about anything. This is the best day ever. But then we're talking about this women's segment, and Orion Ben saying that this pitch from Kiana would make sense if Julia wrestled. And I think it still wouldn't, because here's the thing, SB3. Kiana James comes out, and she has the nerve to say, Steph Vaquer, you're a star. You're just not a superstar. And I'm like, based on what evidence is Steph Vaquer not an absolute superstar? She worked her way through NXT in about 12 seconds. She was a double champion there. She's already a champion on the main roster. She looks amazing in every match she has. She has the crowd eating out of the palm of her hands for both wholesome and not so wholesome reasons. Her presentation is incredible. How is this woman not an absolute mega star? And where do you get off saying that, Kiana James, who lost in 7 seconds to Michin, who has a mid-card champion, which is lower than the Raw Women's Championship, has been treated like crap the entire time it's been a thing for the most part. Julia doesn't wrestle. And she's like, here's the real clincher, though. I'm going to help you win that crown jewel belt. Who gives a shit? That belt doesn't mean anything. It's terrible. It's a wannabe Super Bowl ring for posterity's sake. I thought this was some of the most insulting creative they could have done, and the way that they are just wasting Julia. Like, I was so excited when she won the belt, because I was like, well, now they're going to get serious about it. And what a terrible job they've done building out creative. I actually think Kiana James is really good. I watched her whole NXT run. They put some really cheesy creative around her, but like, she did all right with what she was given. And in the ring, she's pretty good. She can hit like a truck. So far, we've seen her lose in 7 seconds on the main roster and be an ineffective manager. Give these women something to sink their teeth into. Oh, this was not good to me, SP3. I don't know where you stand on it, but let us know.
Well, Julia and Kiana James does not seem like a pairing that's long for this world. I don't think that this is going to last too long, because you could have heard a pin drop in the arena when they came out, when it was Julia attacking Tiffany from behind. And I would have been excited about that if this was setting up, Julia saying what she said when she originally won the US title, that this is just a stepping stone, that she's going to get more gold, and that she wants to go after. And now at least make things interesting on the SmackDown Women's Division, which has been kind of seeking desperately for something interesting, because nothing interesting has happened in a number of months, not since Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton started taking public shots at each other. So yeah, it's been a rough couple of months, but the segment, it was kind of fine. It was kind of like paint by the numbers. I knew when they were given the contract signing to these two women, I was like, creative's not going to come up with anything interesting to make this anything noteworthy. So this is just going to be them saying their line. It's going to be friendly competition. I was surprised they didn't bump into each other. I was like, are they going to bump into each other to have some type of tension here? No, Tiffany just walked out. And then when Julia and Kiana attacked from behind, I was like, oh yeah, we need to have the two baby faces team up with each other. Yeah, we need two heels that are just here to take a loss, which is obvious. This is just to set up next week on SmackDown. It's probably going to be announced. If it wasn't announced on this show, it's probably announced on social media. It's going to be a tag team match next week.
This is such a lazy trope, and it gets used with Tiffany Stratton more than anyone, I feel like. Like, we just keep running back this idea of like, well, what if they tagged because they're both on the good side against the bad teams, and then they faced each other later? The can they coexist tag trope, and like, I just, there are so many things that have just hit replay. Like my iPod stuck on replay. Every day, like my iPod stuck on replay. I needed to sing it to know what I was saying there, but
I thought you were gonna go with Carissa Explains It All. Na 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 na.
I would like for WWE to explain something to me about why they can't freshen this up. But I'll tell you what the good of this is I'm going to get a Tiffany Stratton and Steph Vaquer match, which that I'm excited for. I'm thinking this probably is Tiffany's first loss of the year. They put up a playlist on their YouTube channel of the undefeated year of Tiffany Stratton. And I'm like, You called that out so that we can knock it down in a minute, I think. But it's non-title anyway. I feel like that doesn't hurt her. It does something for the Raw women's title, which I think could maybe use a little bit of a boost right now, just because we had the Naomi Steph Vaquer handover. I think an establishing win for Steph with that title would be something that's beneficial. Which way do you see this going? Now I'm worried it's going to end in a schmoz.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it ending in a smudge. I mean, out of these two women, it's definitely Stephanie Vaquer that needs to win, because like they established in the promos leading up to the matchup, Steph Vaquer has only been the champion for a couple of weeks, whereas Tiffany Stratton has held the title the entire year. So of course, Stephanie Vaquer should get the victory here, but I'm kind of hesitant to that because the other Crown Jewel Championship matchup is really pointing to the World Heavyweight Champion, the Raw Champion, winning that one. So I don't know if they'll have both Raw Champions win at Crown Jewel. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'll lean towards Steph Vaquer.
Yeah, I think if it's going to end clean, it probably goes that way. But Greg Cherry throwing $2 extra for SP3. Now 2 lovely people on screen. I am very thankful he jumped on here on his day off. That is incredibly kind of you. But that robot saying, hello, favorite post. Wait, where's the puppet? As a nearly 39-year-old Muppets fan, I'm here for the whimsy since SmackDown sounded meh. Go Yanks, hi SP3, heart y'all. There was some good on SmackDown. Like, I'm never going to complain when I get to see a Rey Fénix, Javon Evans tag team match, because that was crazy. But this is the puppet.
Lovely.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Alex's look alarmingly like his. Like, the picture I sent was from, obviously I had my red lipstick on, and when my hair was very blonde. Alex's is like, it's a little frightening. I'm not gonna lie, but they did an amazing job. I have to get blonde or red lipstick.
It looks like Melissa Joan Hart.
It does look a little Melissa Joan Hardy. That's like a hello. My favorite thing to do is she's very dramatic. I'm just like, oh. You can kind of make her look like she rolls her eyes, like, oh brother, what was she talking about? That's funny. We had a Clarissa and a Melissa Joan Hart reference in in 5 minutes of SP3 being on here. I should have.
You just gotta try to keep your teeth together and talk through your teeth if you want to try.
I know. I need to learn from Harley Cameron.
Yeah, don't move your lips. Just talk. Just open. Just keep the.
Easier said than done.
That was good, though. That was good.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to bribe Harley Cameron into teaching me a few things about puppetry and ventriloquism there, but let's keep working through this episode. I am excited for what we're gonna get in ring from it. I am worried about the ending now after what we got tonight, and I thought the segment itself kind of a stinker, but I'm very much looking forward to what we get in the match.
Yeah.
What should we talk about next? I kind of want to save the beginning and the end for the end. Where should we go? Where should we go, SV3? You want to talk Zol Ruka versus Chelsea Green and Alba Fire? We could stick with the women's match here. I think it's a crime that this was under 4 minutes because I wanted to see more, but Zarya is unbelievable. For those of you who didn't know Delta Brady from Australia, under the NXT umbrella, she hasn't really gotten to showcase what she can do on a consistent basis. Her F5 is insane. Her spear is insane. Her strength is incredible. Like, I don't know what it is in Australia, but whether they're turning out like technical wrestling women in Jessica Troy or hard hitters in Chevs or your Rhea Ripley's or Zarya or your Iconics, like they have an incredible depth and variety in the women's talent that they churn out over there. We have Soul winning with the Soul Snatcher here. We did have Green and Fire hitting a combo sequence for near falls in this that I thought was pretty well done. I just can't help but have my heart break kind of for Kaylee Ray when I see what Alba Fire is doing on the main roster. And I feel like Chelsea did so much great work and they reward her with this. Like, She lost her US title. She didn't make WrestleMania this year. She was so integral in livening up the women's mid-card picture, and it feels like they just gave up on that with everything they're not doing with the women's US title. And I feel like the follow-up for Chelsea Green, like she was one of the hottest things going on either show, quite frankly. Like with what she was doing character-wise, the way she maximizes her minutes on screen, she still does all that, but it just feels like she's kind of fallen to the wayside of like, well, I just tag with people to make other people look important. Like, I'm not saying she needs to be world champion tomorrow or anything like that, but I am disappointed by what we haven't gotten as far as maximizing her value, because this is such a weird comparison. But when I think of people that maximize their time on screen, Chelsea Green is one of them. Another one, there's obviously the most opposite types of wrestlers in the world, but Samoa Joe. Like, I look at what he did on Wednesday, and I'm like, these are two people that in opposite ways, you give them 45 seconds on screen, they're making the best of it. Like, those people need to be used to the highest extent of the law, in my opinion. So what did you think of what we got in this tag match? I think the match was just fine, but it was 4 minutes, and I'm kind of sick of seeing Chelsea look like a chump.
Yeah, the match was kind of just there. It was kind of used as like a platform to kind of showcase Zaruka, which is kind of weird because it feels like we're getting like soft call-ups on this show. Because I don't know if you've already talked about Javon Evans also kind of got the soft call-up where they have the conversation. I will say, I've been very negative as of late on Triple H booking. I will give him a compliment here. I do like how he comes up with explanations for why matches are happening. And that happened throughout this whole show. You have a backstage segment to explain why the match is happening. Then you have the match. And I feel like that's much better than what we were used to with WWE, where we would just have random matches and matches would happen the same every single week. And we would have matches like with no other type of explanation at all. So I like the fact that Triple H does that. Other than that, his booking of the women's division is pretty piss poor. So I just went right back to hating on him. But it's so lazy. It's just like this is gonna be a platform for the NXT talent to get the win. You know, Chelsea is good to make people look good, but yeah, he misses the peak on so many people, and it feels like he's already missed the peak on Chelsea. Like Chelsea, and I feel like, you know, from the reports that we've heard, it sounds like Chelsea is trying to come up with ways to kind of get the next spark. She's always so creative and coming up with pitches, like the pitch to bring the act with Ethan Page from NXT to SmackDown. I think would have freshen it up a little bit and would have gave her a little bit of a spark and reignite her in the women's division and gave Ethan Page a fresh start on the SmackDown roster, and where he can kind of be like a breakout mid-card star, but they kind of missed that too. So yeah, we're kind of stuck in a rut where we're just going to put Chelsea and the Secret Harvest on a hamster wheel. But Zaruka, they deserve to be here. They should be here. They're ready for the main roster. So that was a good move. I'll give them that.
It's interesting because at NXT, we are, I was going to say inching, like inch by inch getting closer. We are centimeter by centimeter scooching closer to a Zaruka breakup. This has been going on for a very long time. I do think maybe Zaruka having two titles and them failing to capture tag team gold on the main roster, that might rub Zarya the wrong way. Like that might be the thing that does it, of like, you don't care that we don't have tag titles because you already got 2 belts, but I got nothing and I'm pissed at you, is something that is, I think, could be very productive. I think Zarya taking that title from Zaruka would be an incredible handoff, because when she came in, they kind of presented her like she was going to be like almost a Lady Obafemi in a sense of just like monster out there to squash people. And then with really credible challengers, give them, you know, have them give a run for their money, but really take the fight to them. And that's the Zarya that I would love to see. But it's funny you mentioned the NXT call-ups, because FightfulSelect.com had a report about those call-ups being held a little closer to the vest. And some details on that about the fact that those hard call-ups have kind of gone by the wayside under the new regime, as it were, that you can pop from show to show. And that's true about the main roster talent too, by the way. Like Nia Jax did a match with Lash Legend and boom, popped right back up on SmackDown, right? So it's not like a hardened thing. If that's the case, and that's fine, I don't want to see anything to do with any sort of draft ever again.
Yeah, we don't need drafts. We don't
Yeah.
need drafts anymore if this is how you want to use the roster. It's fine, but I just don't need everybody being like, "Well, he's supposed to be on this roster." They obviously don't care, so why do we?
Last year was really frustrating, and Sean gave me hell about this too. I'll tell you. He was like, they're doing it to reset. Like, he gave me all these reasons why they were doing it, because Alex and I were both annoyed that like they did the draft, and I forget where Pete Dunne was drafted to. I think Raw, but the first thing he does is show up on SmackDown, and I was like, you like 0 weeks until you got this wrong, and I was just so annoyed. Ugh, it was brutal. I feel like the draft is something I get so excited about, and then they let me down every year. So just don't do it. Don't do it.
I wish they wouldn't,
Guys,
but they do.
Yeah, we're so late into the year that I feel like we're probably not doing it. Like, we're too close to Royal Rumble to be like, okay, now we're resetting the rosters. I like plus they tried that trade portal thing and it was weird and terrible. I like trades. Like, I remember I forget who it was between, but AEW did a managerial trade of like the Callis family got some guys, and I forget who they shipped off.
It was Jake Roberts.
Yeah,
Jake Roberts.
Okay, yes. I love that idea because it's something you can just pull out whatever you feel like. And WWE right now has 2 authority figures that feel like they have very distinct personalities on both shows. Just do trades. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the simplest solution because it doesn't have like a timetable. Why not?
I mean, it would work for me, but we shall see. WWE doesn't take good ideas very well this year.
Well, just pick a thing and stick to it more than anything. Like trade portal, draft, superstar shit. Just pick a thing. Stick to the thing. Chad is saying Alex is puppeting hard behind the paywall. That man is going to get more mileage than... He already bought a stand and arm rods for it. I'm like, I'm so excited for mine, and I can't wait to... He's going to be... Sean's life is going to be ruined every Wednesday on the Dynamite post show, and I look forward to that. But let's scoot through some more of this episode of SmackDown. After that match, we get Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair reacting backstage, giving a little bit of praise while hinting at their own kind of tag team experience. You got Alexa being like, I know what it's like when they're not on the same page and you got to go out there and win matches. And then Charlotte invites her to woo, and she just like, oh, no. So they're still figuring out whatever friendship is. They don't know how to be friends. But I'm excited for the match with, like, I want to see Charlotte and Zarya in the same ring. So I'm looking forward to that. The tag division is just never going to feel important for the women. Maybe AEW having one now will force them to step it up a little, but I kind of gave up hope on that when they had Jade and Bianca, and it still was just like, we're in Scotland. Go out there, spooky Scottish witches, and win the tag titles. I was like, you just don't care about this division, but I'm looking forward to that match. I'm glad people are getting to see what both Sol Ruca and Zarya can do in general, much less together.
So is this Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss working for anybody else? Because it's not working for me. It feels like any type of chemistry or like endearing qualities that this act had, it went away when they got the titles. Like, every interaction they have on television to me comes off like the most awkward conversation that I never want to watch again. Like, I watch it through my fingers. It's so awkward to me.
It became, as soon as they won the titles, it became a slapstick comedy act.
It feels forced now. It feels forced.
Taking the words out of my mouth, when this all started to switch direction, I had said, like, it felt organic, and now it feels like a bad vaudeville routine. They were like, yuckity yuck yuck. I was like, what happened to, like, there's something that was so interesting to me initially about this, and that Charlotte was like, it kind of paralleled what she was saying about her real life of like, I was a lone wolf, a lone champion. Like she doesn't know how to be friends with someone is like something we all kind of laugh at. But there are like very genuinely wrestlers, athletes, and people in this world who are so scared of vulnerability that they don't know how to have authentic friendships. And there was something great that was there. And now it feels like they just made it all yuckity yuck yuck. And I don't, yeah, it doesn't jive for me as much anymore either. Because it shouldn't be goofy. Like it's you're right in that it feels forced. Definitely feels forced.
Yeah, it just
Anthony
came off very
Velasquez.
genuine before.
It did.
I don't know what happened.
There's this. I realized this, and it bummed me out. They kind of course corrected with the Kabuki Warrior stuff, but like when Rhea was talking about how Io was essentially her Achilles heel, and she has so much respect for her, but like losing to her all the time makes her doubt herself. She did like a couple of promos that were digital exclusives and not on TV, and they wouldn't air them. And I was like, this company is like so scared of vulnerability, and it makes me sad. Like, because I feel like the part that connects you to wrestling is the vulnerable aspects of these characters' trajectories. And they, as soon as something starts to feel real, they almost shun it. Of like, we can't go there. We're too there. It's so sterilized of an approach, and it kind of bums me out.
And it's so weird because the two defining stories of the Triple H era pretty much are personal, like vulnerability type of stories that explore like layers of characters in Cody finishing his story and the Bloodline saga. That's all about vulnerability, insecurity, and all types of subjects that usually this company would not address. So it's so weird to me that anytime they even broach it in any type of way, they veer left and then just make it seem so inauthentic.
Well, both of those stories started before Triple H, though, too.
So that's also true. I mean, I was over here. I was one of the first people who said all the stuff that Triple H was doing. I was saying this in 2023, where we were all praising Triple H. I was the first guy. guy that was like, hey, all of this stuff was started by Vince McMahon. Let's see if Triple H can actually start something, and let's see what he can do with that. And, people will come back and say, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Well, I give most of the credit to CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. The Bloodline saga, I didn't even give the credit to Vince McMahon. I gave it to Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. Cody Rhodes finishing his story, that's just Cody Rhodes. That's Cody Rhodes finishing his story. That's literally the title of it is Cody. It's mostly Cody. It has nothing to do with Triple H. Like, all of this stuff, and he gets all the praise for it. He's all the credit. He is the definition of the CEO living in his ivory tower, taking credit for all the little people below him. Because this is what we do. I feel like
it's also so frustrating because I feel like he got such a bump, and kind of rightfully so, honestly. There was such a benefit of the doubt because the product was so bad at the end of the Vince era that even just the basic fundamentals were such a breath of fresh air. And now it feels like, I've said it week over week, we have reverted to every bad booking habit from that Vince era. Constant rematches, mid-card not feeling important, tag division not feeling important, constant DQs, constant interference, constant non-finishes, bad pacing of shows, all of the things that people were very vocal about and crucially turned off their TVs about, stopped buying tickets to, are sneaking back into the product. And I don't want to see that because I don't want that to happen for wrestling and the wrestlers. But even more than that, like, I keep going back to the heel turns that have fallen flat. The New Day one breaks my heart because I thought that was one of the most effective things. Like, when I say affecting, like emotionally affecting. Like, I was moved in a way that wrestling does not always move me. The John Cena one. So many heels being people that get cheered because they won't change Seth Rollins' theme and the Brons are too cool. Like, only Gunther kind of properly gets so and then when you rotate the same 8 guys to face each other as your main event picture, all of those matchups that felt fresh don't feel that way anymore. So it's kind of like the Vince McMahon method of doing things has ruined what felt fresh and new about the product, in my opinion. But those botched heel turns, the New Day one breaks my heart more than Cena's, because I felt like it was so much more visceral. And Cena's was like, oh my God, they did the thing. The New Day one was like, oh my God, they did that to Big E. Like it's such a different, like, oh, it was so good. And then it went nowhere. Breaks my heart.
Yeah, I think that like Triple H's booking, especially in 2025, has made me realize that Vince's biggest like curse was also his biggest gift. Vince was very reactionary. Oh, we had a bad rating on Monday Night Raw. Oh, this person got booed, or this didn't work, or this didn't happen. Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, we have this person facing somebody. He'll rip up the script and be like, no, we're gonna do something new. That at least made things entertaining. I never had a moment with Vince McMahon booking, even in the worst of times, the late 2010s, where I was really kind of bored with anything. I either loved stuff or I hated stuff. Most of the time I hated stuff, but at least I had a feeling. A lot of like Triple H, he has a glacial pace to his booking. Like it's just too damn slow. Everything just has to, and I feel bored a lot of times watching WWE television. Like for all the bad I can say about Vince McMahon as a booker, as a person, as a being, I don't know what he is because he has a computer brain apparently, but all I can say about him is that at least I felt something when he was around. Most of the time it was hatred, but that was better than the boredom that I feel when I watch some of Triple H's creative choices.
You know what? Best thing that happened tonight, Sean Ross Sapp taking a stunner from Shotzi. So in their defense, very little that happened on SmackDown could have beat that moment for me. But I'm with you. It's when you've watched enough wrestling, the auto completion of like, it's like if you type into Google, how do I whatever, and you type in one extra word and it completes it for you. That's how a lot of this booking has felt of late. But we got some more chats. We got one coming in from Tim McFowle saying, sorry I'm late. I had to catch Alexi's response to Maggie. Did I miss the cake crash out? SP3 out here reviewing all the worst wrestling shows the past couple days. I would feel bad if your rants weren't so good. You are a top ranter. I felt very threatened when I was sick that my job security was in play because you and Alex Pulaski were such a good duo on Sour Graps. But I had a puppet on the way, so I know SRS ain't bumping me when he's invested that much money into my puppet button.
You'll be fine. You're fine. Your job is secure. But yes, there's like I said before, there's nothing on this show that makes me want to rant because I was bored for most of it. At least see Shawn Michaels. That's a booker. I hate a lot of the stuff he does. Like that's a feeling. I hated this past Tuesday's NXT. It made me rant for like 3 or 4 different shows this week.
I know, and they were all special in their own unique way. It was like you had different little rant children, and you loved them all equally, but they were all different. I saw many of your rants, and they were fantastic. Anthony Velasquez asking what we think of Booker T as a commentator. Personally, not a fan. He is probably my least favorite active commentator. I just feel like he doesn't. It's like catchphrases and gooning over women. I am very vocal about who my favorites are: Ian Riccaboni, Caprice Coleman, Nigel McGuinness, now Bryan Danielson. Those are mine. I do quite like Wade Barrett, but it bums me out because I actually think Vic Joseph is quite good. And as someone that watches NXT every week and listens to Booker T, that's frustrating because I feel like Booker is in his own world and Vic Joseph tries so hard to either rein him in or play off of him in some way. And I think the world of Vic Joseph's work. I think he's excellent. He just doesn't get a chance to shine at all because of who his partner is. So he is not for me. He certainly fits the wacky world of NXT if you're looking for something that feels like it is out of this world in a lot of ways. What do you think?
I think that Booker T is both a horrible pro wrestling commentator and also an entertaining pro wrestling commentator.
Okay, I'm seated for this take. Let's go.
Because like if you just stop taking him seriously, and it's just like, okay, what type of sound is he gonna make off of this move? He's a sideshow. He's a sideshow clown. He's the guy that draws the sounds of Batman punching the villains in the comic books. Like that, he's like, pow, whoa, wowza, whoa, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh wow, oh jucky ducky quack quack, whoa.
I'm so glad you joined me tonight.
It's just like he's basically turned, like I got Ryan Ben who said fire Booker T, fire Black Snow. He is Black Snow. Like y'all don't get it. Like that's what he's become. He's just Black Snow now. That's all he is. He does not take himself seriously at all. So why should we?
Well, I'll tell you what. We take Fightful Select pretty seriously, and we had a story about Booker T on there, and that nobody across so many wrestling promotions, SP3, knew what the hell he was talking about when he said Jade Cargill was fresh out of AEW. WWE talent were confused, AEW talent were confused, TNA talent were confused. Fightful Select was like, yeah, we heard from a lot of people at a lot of companies, and none of them know what the hell he's talking about because she's been there since September 2023, and she's had more matches in WWE than she did in AEW. So the end of the triple threat was bad because Jade Cargill is fresh out of AEW. She didn't have the proper training when she was there. William Regal and Bryan Danielson were at, like, what are we doing?
He said she didn't wrestle anybody. Who exactly has she wrestled in WWE? I've been saying this for months. I pull back the curtain. I actually was invited one time to be on Booker T's podcast because I had world famously called Booker T out for all that he does and what he did with the whole Jade Cargill thing. This man takes every opportunity to crap on AEW any way he can. And I understand, like Kenny Omega said, some people going to do splits for the TKO basket. And I understand, Booker T. You're good at the splits. You're good at spinneroonies. It's all fine and dandy. You know, I call him Uncle Booker T. The T stands for Tom. But anyway, I got invited on his podcast because I said that. Referencing, see? Pulling full circle.
I got you.
Because I call him Uncle Booker Tom. I got invited on his podcast, and then I think his podcast co-host saw some of my other rants on Booker T and was like, you know what? Never mind. Never answered me again. I told him what times I was available. He was like,
"Oh no, you're breaking up. Sorry, I can't hear you." Oh man, let's talk about something that has some upside to it. Let's talk about something refreshing that I like, and that's seeing Javon Evans on my screen. Him and Ray Phoenix versus Los Garza. This was, if you thought Javon Evans alone was bouncy, you throw Ray Phoenix in there and Los Garza, quadruple the bouncy. This was so much fun. The huge springboard and the modified Psycho knee, which, by the way, all I can think about, my sister just thought that was called a Psycho knee. She doesn't follow wrestling. Swerve Psycho knee was called a Psycho knee, which I loved because I was talking to her about Bryan Danielson. She was like, yeah, the Psycho knee. I was like, that's not that. She's a full-grown adult, by the way. This isn't like a cute little 5-year-old. She's older than me. She just doesn't watch wrestling.
Psycho knee.
The Psycho knee. The Psycho knee. Brian Pillman would have had a Psycho knee. Like, it's a very unhinged, loose cannon-y type of thing. But that modified Psycho knee was fantastic. And it's not just like what Javon Evans can do. It's the execution of the way that he follows through with it that I think has audiences so captivated. He is quite possibly the future of this company along with Obafemi. I also thought that about Carmelo Hayes, and they have done nothing but prove me wrong. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Not him, they, by the way. But like he has the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand in 2 appearances on SmackDown. He's so incredible on NXT. And my only thing is the reason people love him, and it's not to say he can't promo. It's not to say any of these things. He's very connected to who his character is in a way that a lot of young wrestlers I don't think are when I watch him every Tuesday. But he is over because of the wrestling. Like, he's over because of the way that he wrestles. And I don't want WWE to stray from that. And I'm terrified they're going to. Because that's not saying he can't promo. He's actually a very sincere promo. I like his promo style a lot. And I love that I see the young OG stuff in every feud he's in, where he's just like, there's this young side to him, this youthful side, but there's also this cleverness. There's like this young punchiness that I get, but there's also this, I'm actually a step ahead of you, even though I'm super young thing that I feel like shows up a lot. I don't want them to stray from what makes him special. And I'm nervous that they will. I'm nervous that they will. But that is just anxiety. Okay, tonight was fun. This match was a blast. You talked about things being justified. This one wasn't so much, but I didn't care. I just had fun watching this match. This was good. I'm glad to see this for Ray Phoenix too. Like, he's a great wrestler. I want to see him wrestle. Obviously, Andrade's abrupt departure changed some things for him, which was a Fightful Select story from last week. But what did you think of the tag match that we got here?
Oh, this was awesome. This was the best part of the show for me. I love this. Los Garza, I think, is very underrated. They're really good at being kind of like the heels who can bump around and make the baby faces look great when they make their comeback and know how to be in the right spot for all the dives. Love the dive sequence before the first commercial break. Love the finishing sequence. Javon Evans is special. Like, that's a guy that you strap the rocket to. Like, he needs to be the NXT champion. He needs to come to the main roster, become an Intercontinental champion, eventually become a WWE champion when he's 34, knowing Triple H's pace. But no, he is a guy that they should be focusing as one of like the top baby faces because he's very endearing. He's just an extension of who he really is, and you can hear that when he's on the mic. I think he's one of the better mic workers actually on NXT because he feels so real. He feels very believable in everything he says. He talks like one of my nephew's friends, and my nephew's like 23 years old, and that's how they talk. So yeah, I like Javon Evans a lot, and I think that he has a bright future, and I'm hoping just bring him onto the main roster. Stop going at this glacial pace. We've been told 100 times you want Braun Breaker's a future WrestleMania headliner. Make him a WrestleMania headliner next year. Don't just tell us this and then in 5 years do it. Do it next year. And so then we could get Javon Evans and Obafemi and Trick Williams on the main roster. And if you choose those guys to be future main eventers or future WrestleMania headliners, book them as such. What happened? Like, I heard a whole rant of shout outs to Wrestle Talk, Luke Owen and Ollie Davis. They talked about how Vince saw Brock Lesnar and was like, hey, you're the guy. We're going to book you like you're the guy. And in 5 months, he was WWE champion. And guess what? In 5 months, he was a legit main eventer, a legit top star in this company. He got Kurt Angle, an Olympic gold medalist. He said, I'm going to make you a top star. I'm going to make you a main eventer here. And in less than a year, he was the WWE champion. Why hasn't Triple H done any of that in 3 years? And you got a guy like Javon Evans, you got a guy like Obafemi, you got a guy like Trick Williams who went from sidekick to the face of the brand. Like, you got 3 guys right there that you can just strap the rocket to. You got a whole bunch of young guys on the main roster, Dominic Mysterio, Bron Breakker, that you can strap the rocket to. Just do it. Stop wasting time. Stop going like this. I understand you got a pacemaker, but goddamn, speed it up, Grandpa. Ray Phoenix was good too here. He was good. He's just stuck in tag teams. He's perennially stuck in tag teams, and he can't team with his brother. He can't team with his actual brother. Like, this is crazy. This is like the weirdest version of wrestling wife swap that I've ever seen before. You know, on Wife Swap, where the husband goes with another wife, and they get to do all the things that you do in a marriage, except the best part when you go to bed and you do other stuff that we would do a Blue Chew segue to right now. You do everything that's a part of a marriage, all the minuscule stuff that's part of the marriage, except for the fun stuff. That's Ray Phoenix. He's going wife swap with every other person's wife, and he can't be with his own partner. It's ridiculous.
That turned incestual very quick since his own partner is his brother, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I
Partner.
appreciate
That's
it.
why I said partner. Partner.
You did say partner, but it got to sex stuff pretty quick, is all I'm saying. That's all. I don't disagree with you because you know what? I saw a young man in the Bronx become the Cinderella story yesterday. Okay. And if I had to put my money on him, I would not have yesterday. But he made himself a star as a young athlete in October on the biggest stage of them all. And I just feel like you should put money down on those kind of people. And you can put money down on those kind of people at, you know where. My bookie AG. Roll the tape. Sean Ross Sapp, who just got stunned by Shotzi.
My bookie AG is where Fightful is getting all of our odds, not just pro wrestling, which, yeah, you can bet on pro wrestling, UFC, boxing. That's where we're getting our odds from. If you're watching In the Weeds and they're talking about basketball odds, it's going to be from my bookie AG. Use the code FIGHTFUL, get a $50 bonus when you deposit $100, or get a $100 bonus when you deposit $200. Check it out. If you think you know more than the average wrestling fan, head over to MyBookie. They have some odds up all the time for upcoming events, whether it be WWE, AEW, anybody. Make sure you check them out in addition to their other fantastic deals. They've been around for quite a while, very reliable. MyBookie AG. Use that code FIGHTFUL. Now, only bet what you can, and please bet responsibly, but head over, see what lines they got now. Not just for pro wrestling. Maybe you're interested in baseball, football, basketball, soccer, or just football again, right? My bookie AG.
Hello? I'm sorry.
Hello.
I heard somebody talking about wife swapping, and that's like the bat signal for me. Who's doing wife swapping?
Not me.
Ray Phoenix. Ray
Phoenix is doing wife swapping? Who's he married to?
He was married to Penta, but now he's wife swapping with all these other tag team partners.
Oh. Yeah, that's listen, no offense, but that is not the way Alexi swings. So it's cool. Everybody, we are cool, but no, not gonna be doing any swapping with Penta. That is a skeleton ninja, and I don't go that way, so we're good.
I'll tell you what, Puppet King got the hell out of here when we were talking about wife swapping.
It's fine. Okay, well, I just wanted to drop in because I heard someone talking about wife swapping. But then I'm going to go now and let you guys finish your show. But every Friday on Fightful Select, every Friday on Fightful Select, the show will be hosted by me, Alexi, and this one will also be there as the co-host. It's kind of a drip, though. He's not really all that funny. He's kind of just sits there and doesn't do a lot.
That's my co-host. Don't you talk about him like that?
You're very disrespectful to him. He's my friend.
You need to get the
You
better
just
co-host.
got here, bro.
Like, come on. Have some standards. So anyway, we're going to go now, and we'll see you all later. I just want everyone to know, in case you are wondering who is responsible for this, it is Sean Ross Sapp. He bought me, he sent me here, and this is what happens because of his decisions. All right, we're gonna go now.
Okay, sounds good.
It was good.
I think you guys
Alex.
need to talk because I don't
Alexi.
like the way he was talking to you, Alex. That was
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah.
He's getting acclimated to the culture. Acclimate this. Okay. Well, sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Goodbye.
Sorry.
До свидания.
Miss you both.
You said Missy. Tim McFowle saying your Booker take corpse, Tim. Give him more money. Thank you. SB3 making us money off these rants today. Tim McFowle also saying 34 is too young to be world champion. Look, I had man, young athletes do this in sports all the time. They shine on the brightest stage of them all. Why not do that? And I think I week over week, I'm like, what aren't we doing with young talent? What aren't we doing with Carmelo Hayes? If you screw up Obafemi, I got nothing for you. And what's crazy is I feel like the women are succeeding in spite of that. The young women's talent, despite the bad booking, are showing out in way. Roxanne has lost more matches than anybody on the women's roster. And still continues to be someone that's over. So I feel like even with ill supportive creative, the women are shining just because they're getting the screen time. Give young men stars the screen time as well. But
yeah,
guys, I really don't know how to segue out of getting interrupted by a Bulgarian puppet. But
that's pretty hard.
I tried my best.
Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy. And Tim mentioned it when I was just about to bring up that we've never had a WWE world champion who was born past 1990. Every WWE champion has either been born in 1989 or earlier. That's a sad
brutal. That's brutal. It's brutal because you have the Montez Ford could have been a world champion. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't have the pieces, but
I mean, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne could have been groomed to become world champions in the last 8 years instead of just being put under maps and given awful names.
I can't go there right now.
You got them when they were kids. You recruited them. You recruited them out of college and high school. What?
Triple H held up Pete Dunne's hand and was like, "This is the future of pro wrestling," and here we are. So, Oh no. Let's talk some backstage segments before we swing into this Sami Zayn and Aleister Black match, which is back on the less fun side of things. But we do get a backstage with Damian Priest, who says everybody runs out of luck eventually. He mocks Kate Wilson in his wheelchair and shoves him down the ramp because comedy. And he challenges Aleister Black to a last man standing match next week on SmackDown. Whatever this toxic masculinity bullshit thing that they're running is the most boomer nonsense I've ever. What is this? I hate this. Ugh, all of that's bad. This feud has never felt hot and it's gone on way too long. They kind of hinted at it with a wink and a nod last week of finally this will be over and we won't have to keep chasing each other around. This was something that has been bad from the start, and it's not either performer's fault. It's just been heatless because I feel like both of these guys, I kind of just felt like I knew it was going to be unproductive from the beginning because Damian Priest is already a bona fide star and was working with Drew McIntyre and high profile talent. Aleister Black just got here, but he doesn't need to be propped up by a major program with Damian Priest. And it just has never really gelled despite how great both performers are and how good they are in the ring. What did you think of the backstage that we got? Whatever this toxic masculinity thing is needs to be dropped immediately. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. It's very paint by the numbers, and you know that it's by someone who's 50 years old and this would be really cool. And it's just get out of here, man. This is lame. What are we doing here? And as far as Damian Priest and Aleister Black, yeah, this feud, it's not very good. The police is coming to get them right now and
that's how bad it is. They're gonna get arrested.
to arrest them right now. But yeah, really, when you really look at Black, Rusev, and Andrade, they look real stupid for how they were acting in AEW. now. Like we're at the 6-month mark with Rusev and Black. 6 months back, y'all are not even in the same place y'all were when y'all were here last. Y'all are actually lower. Y'all are just in nothing mid-card matches with no upward trajectory, no upward mobility at all. You're not over with the audience at all anymore. You don't feel like this hot act coming off of AEW because you treated it like it was just a stepping stone to get back to WWE, and you come back to WWE and you're lower than you were. You look real stupid. I'm sorry, it does. It looks real stupid in retrospect.
I agree, if assuming what we have heard is accurate, right? There a lot of that's rumor based, but it does seem like everybody who comes out of WWE with a chip on their shoulder promo ends up going back, like on really weird terms. There felt like everybody who got released was like, I have a chip on my shoulder, except for Swerve and Tony Storm. And those two have been the ones that have been kind of leading the charge from that standpoint. As far as releases, there's plenty of people that opted to go to AEW because it fit their agenda, who were also dissatisfied in WWE.
Tony counts as that too.
Tony does.
She chose to leave.
She did. She elected to leave. Mercedes elected to leave, right? Like, they were people who were technically released, but left voluntarily, kind of like in within that. But I feel like this is where they should be situated. I don't know if Miro Rusev losing to Dominic Mysterio is a great call. Like, that feels weird, but like I had fun watching him and Sheamus beat the hell out of each other.
I'll be honest, I was fine with it because I dug the crowd digging Dom's babyface Eddie Guerrero act. I dug it so much.
We were talking about missing people's peaks and errant heel turns and stuff. Why Dominic Mysterio is not a face? We do not need to wait for Liv Morgan to get back. The crowd is electric for him. The crowd in Mexico is electric for him. He's getting babyface reactions. Just turn him face. Like, I don't understand these resistances to things, but man, get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. Hashtag thank you, Shotzi, for stunning Sean Ross Sapp. But Jeremiah saying, I live in the DC area and won't be spending $11K to see Cena versus probably Brock again. I don't know what to expect from these remaining Cena dates. He doesn't really have any more TV dates, which is weird. Like, he can't really build out a final program. I wouldn't be spending $11,000 on any wrestling show. It could be Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness versus Norman Smiley versus William. It could be whatever technical dream at you. I'm not paying $11,000 to go see wrestling. It's just not happening. If you're in a financial situation where you can, God bless. But I
can't do that.
View's better at home most of the time anyway, man. I don't know. Well, let's talk about, because we talked about the Damian Priest aspect of this. Let's talk about this Mello and Sami situation from Perfect Plex, who says, I got really excited when it looked like Mello versus Sami, but it made too much sense for WWE creative. I'm going to disagree with that because I don't think someone should be able to answer an open challenge twice. If you could.
And so close together too.
Yeah, we have this backstage where Carmelo says that him and The Miz are done, which is always a sign that people are not done, unfortunately. But they should be. And then we have Carmelo saying, like, I'm not the same person I was when I faced you the first time, which to your point was not that long ago. He says, you know I'm great. I know I'm great. I've never been better than right here in Cincinnati right now. And he gets taken out by Aleister Black. I can't believe how much they have screwed up Carmelo Hayes' trajectory because he is so skilled at this. They have a mini HBK in modern day running around right now, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this guy. Come on, man. I don't need the Miz like running to his aid in this. I don't need the Miz near him at all. I've never needed him near it. And I don't need him picking it up where he left off when this all ended the first time. This is just bad use of Carmelo Hayes, who should be made to feel like an upper mid-card lower top of the card kind of guy. Like, he was your number one draft pick in the draft last year. I feel like I say this every week. I'm sorry for being a broken record, but as soon as he said my partnership with The Miz is done, I knew it wasn't going to be done. I knew we were going to be getting more of this because, like you said, we are moving at a glacial pace through this creative. But we do get a match here between Aleister Black and Sami Zayn, and you're not going to believe this, but Damian Priest interferes. I do like watching Aleister Black work. I always do. I like how heavy his kicks feel. I like the bridging suplexes. I always love Sami Zayn working. I love a Michinoku driver. I love getting a springboard moonsault from Sami. He's winning with this Haluva kick, Blue Thunder Bomb combo, and he never wins with the Blue Thunder Bomb. I'm a fan of it personally. I'm glad to see that, but it was almost comical how much he wasn't. So I guess with the Haluva kick in tandem, it works better. But we do get a Razor's Edge onto the table here, which gives Sami the opening that he needs. I'm sorry, that was the post match. Sami wins the title. Then after the match, Priest destroys Black with the Razor's Edge. So technically not interference, but sending us home in the same way that we would expect to for what that feud is going to hopefully mercifully be ending. What did you think of what we got with Sami Zayn? He's just I'm always bought into Sami Zayn. Like, I just watching this guy wrestle, there's always near falls that I'm biting on. Like, I could watch him wrestle anybody all the time forever.
Yeah, to talk about the first part with Mello saying he's done with The Miz, I kind of felt was like, okay, this kind of came out of nowhere. Like, it's been going very slow, this story, but yet this whole turn came out of nowhere, and then The Miz attacking him. Huh?
I'm dumb.
The Miz attacked. The Miz attacked Mello.
Running Fightful Socials too today, so I was all over the place. I'm sorry. I retract everything I said. Finally, the shit is ending. Oh my God, let's move on. Thank God. Let's have a one and done. I don't need a full feud out of this. Don't give me 3 matches. Let's end it immediately.
They're going to do 3 matches. They're going to do 3 matches.
No,
I mean,
6 months.
the good part of this is this makes me feel like they're going in the direction of Mello being a babyface, which I think that might work out better for him. Baby faces who are great in the ring have a better chance of getting some upward mobility in a Triple H era. So I hope that and Mello has a bunch of charisma. He's good on the mic. He could be a good character as well. He could play a good baby face as well. I feel like he's a better heel, but I think that he can work as a baby face in this Triple H era. Him against The Miz, though, that feels like a nothing feud just waiting to happen. And it better be Mello wins the feud and goes on to eventually win the US championship. But I know that's not going to happen. We're just in an endless loop with Mello. It's all about fan anger. Mello gets one match where it makes you have hope. Then you lose all hope, fan anger, and then we continue to loop again. But anyway, as far as the matchup,
we're so stuck in a loop, I can't even recognize what breaking it looks like. That's how stuck we are in this loop. I'm gonna go watch. You're gonna see 1 million views on The Miz and Carmelo finally breaking up, and 900,000 of them are gonna be me because I've been waiting for this for so damn long. That's how much I'm going to be relishing in this moment that I completely missed, I guess, the first time around. I thought it was Aleister Black because I just saw Aleister Black standing there. I take it all back. This is the best segment in the history of wrestling.
He was like him, and then he got Skull Crusher Valley right on the ramp, and Miz walked off. So, yeah, we're going to get a Miz.
I need a co-host.
We're gonna get a Miz and Mello feud. That should be, I guess, fun. No. And Aleister Black, I thought this was the best he looked in the ring so far since his return.
Yes, I agree.
Him and Sami had a very good matchup. I like Sami combining the Haluva kick with the Blue Thunder Bomb. I think that's a more effective way. He finally figured out the algorithm of how to make the Blue Thunder Bomb correctly use it to get wins, and he's gotten back-to-back wins due to it. I think that the U.S. Open Challenge has been a very much a benefit to Friday Night SmackDown. I find myself being like, okay, that was the one good thing from this show. 9 times out of 10 over the last month
Sure.
since the U.S. Open Challenge was reintroduced.
Sami Zayn being a fighting babyface champion just does not feel bad. Like that just there's all of that makes sense. Sami Zayn wrestling a bunch to defend his title honorably. There's nothing about that doesn't work for me. Like I am here for that. My only thing that I don't like about it is Seth Rollins was like, "You're too much of a chump for the world title. Hit the bricks and go to SmackDown." And he basically was like, "You're right."
He was like,
I'll
you know
go win
what?
a mid-card title over there instead.
I'm gonna fight you for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go. That's what he said. He said, "I'll fight you for a little bit."
Oh man, this was fun. I liked this in the tag match the most. I think on the show, this was a for something that was never in doubt. Like it was a good match. Like him and Sami and Black had good chemistry together. Who do you think wins? Do we think we see in weeks down the line Obafemi dethroning Sami Zayn, or is Obafemi destined for things maybe just like straight to the top of the card? That's how I would build a monster like that, but that's not the way they move of late. What do you think?
They need to learn from their mistakes. Like the US Open Challenge is fondly remembered, but people tend to not talk about how it ended. It ended the first time due to Seth Rollins, WWE champion, beating him thanks to Jon Stewart at SummerSlam 2015. I was live in the building for that nonsensical finish. And then the second time when he regained the U.S. championship, he lost it to Alberto Del Rio, who aligned with Dutch Mantel, my good former co-host on Fridays. So yeah, that was the last 2 times we had the US Open Challenge. So you have to use it correctly. The correct use of the US Open Challenge would have been Kevin Owens beating John Cena to become the US champion during their rivalry. You need to do it correctly this time. Have the guy get called up from NXT and beat him for the US title. Yes, Obafemi, Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, whoever you want to choose to be it, choose him, but Obafemi is the best option.
Yeah, I feel like if you just put him in the Gunther track, he's set. Like he should be one of those guys. There's some ridiculous stat out there that like Gunther has held a title for like 87% of his time. Oh, I think even over that, like because his appearances.
I think it's between 75 and 80 because he lost the world. When he was world heavyweight champion, it was like at 80, but because he's lost it and it's been a couple of months, it's going between.
But he regained it to beat Goldberg. I mean, come on, the stuff of legends here, but
come on.
I mean, the best. I can't think of a more compelling program, but that type of dominance, I feel like for Obafemi is something that's needed. Like that thing of like more than 3/4 of your time spent in WWE has been with a title on your shoulder. Just feels like the right call for a guy like him. But let's keep rocking and rolling. Thank you, SP3, for joining me. Otherwise, it'd be confusing who attacked who out here on the main. Don't like that about myself, but we do like Jacob Fatu being back on TV. We get this gritty little video package from him saying he's all gas and no brakes, and anybody who disrespects him will be sent straight to the bottom. And that Drew McIntyre might just be that guy. Here's my issue with this. How many incredibly impressive high-key losses is Drew McIntyre going to take? Because I feel like Jacob Fatu is not losing this feud. I want to see this feud. I want to see these two dudes fight each other. I am salivating over the two of them fighting each other. However, I do feel like Drew shouldn't be losing so much, and Jacob Fatu certainly shouldn't be losing this feud. Do you think Solo Sikoa isn't done with him and costs him against Drew? That feels like a predictable route, but I don't know what's going on with Solo Sikoa. We'll talk about that in a second too, but it feels like they're done with each other, but it also feels unresolved, so I'm kind of stuck here.
This is a boat. This is a boat sailing by. The boat is called Drew McIntyre being a main event star in WWE. I think that boat has sailed by. They didn't capitalize on the CM Punk. Like they got a second lease on life. Like you don't get that very often. He's gotten three times. 2020, He became the top babyface in the company, but it wasn't in front of anybody because it was in the pandemic. They cooled him off for a while. Then they heated him up in 2022 when he challenged Roman. He had so many people believing Roman was going to lose to Drew in Glasgow, Scotland, but he did. They cooled him off again. Then he turned heel. He got hot again. Has the feud of the year with CM Punk, and then they proceed to just cool him off again. This is 3 times. I'm sorry. I learned my lessons. I learned my lessons with WWE. When they start treating person the same thing that many times, I'm not convinced. I'm not like y'all. I'm not a glutton for punishment. I learned my lessons. I learned my lessons from WWE.
Oh yeah, SP3?
It's
well,
over.
I'm an
it's
idiot.
Over.
So
no, you're not. You're not.
I'm trying
dumb.
I'm
trying to be a
believe.
good friend. No, this is me extending my hand to you. Don't do it. Don't fall into the abyss. Don't fall, Kate. Don't fall into the abyss. Don't believe that they're going to make Drew McIntyre a main event star, or all they'll do is give you a boring match on their historic first PLE on ESPN. They'll give you a boring ass match where the referee does stupid stuff like stopping him from kicking somebody. That's legal. That's legal. That was stupid. Oh, I hated that match so much.
You're on fire tonight, the chat is saying. On short notice, coming off the bench. Chad is calling you out, though. I gotta say, you said there was a boat passing by. We know who the boat is, and that's Natalya. Okay, the best of all time. The boat. Natty. We love that for us. We got a Solo Sikoa segment, another video package that hyped Solo up at his connection to Tongaloa. Solo teased that a piece is still missing. Is this a Bloodline edition? Are injured people coming back? I don't know, but this has been a very weird 3 weeks for whatever this is. They were like, I've been abandoned by everyone but you, except those other 2 guys who I was not abandoned by at all. We don't know what's happening. Do you know what's happening, SP3? Because I don't know what's happening.
Tama Tonga is going to come back in the next vignette, and then the MFTs are coming back to SmackDown to be on the show way too much.
Do you think the MFTs are going to come back with a new crypto thing and be the NFTs?
Maybe, but we really got to discuss this, Kate. We need to have this discussion because it's October. We're getting towards the end of the year. Yo, that Solo Sikoa Jacob Fatu steel cage matchup at SummerSlam has to be considered one of the worst matches of the year because it killed both of their pushes. Remember before SummerSlam, Jacob Fatu felt like he had the rocket strapped to him. He's going straight to the moon, and he still would. But there's a lot of fuel that got released from that rocket after that cage match. And Solo Sikoa, he was considered probably the most prominent heel on SmackDown before SummerSlam. Featured all over the show. Now he gets a minute and a half vignettes for 3 straight weeks. And then before that, he wasn't on the show after he lost the US Championship for like 3 weeks before these vignettes started. So yeah, that cage match, that did irreversible damage to both of their pushes.
I don't know if it's irreversible, but it definitely is bad. I think the momentum is 4 letters, 1 word, dead right now. And they need to find a way to get it back. Get it back. Bob saying he loves don't believe his lies. Kate, stop getting mementoed with Drew. There are some people that I can't let go. And Drew's one of them. Sammy's one of them. I will always have hope, which I know is dumb. I'm aware. I know it's dumb. They've proven it to be time and time again. Every time I see Natalya become Natty, I'm like, maybe next week they'll put her on it's not gonna happen. I am ready to get hurt again, as Michael Scott would say.
Ready to get hurt again.
Let's talk about our main event match here and our opening segment. So you're not going to believe this, SP3, but Paul Heyman is trying to drive a wedge between two people. And those two people are Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. I said at the beginning of the show, like, Cody Rhodes is not always for me. But I do like the change, and we're not getting a lot of crocodile tear dramatic promos as much anymore. It's a little bit more straightforward of a delivery. He feels more poised as a champion. Yeah, we've kind of veered away from that, and I like that he's evolving as him as a champion the second time around has a little more punch to it than the first time around, and he should, because he has experience doing this. And I like that we're a little less dramatic. Like that style isn't for me. And this kind of babyface archetype isn't necessarily for me, but it's a lot easier to stomach when he's having promos like this. Here's my only issue. I feel like we're a little snake bitten either way, because you should assume that Paul Heyman's going to try and drive a wedge between you. And you should probably assume that Randy Orton's going to turn his back on you. Like, either outcome feels like it feels inevitable that Randy's going to turn heel on Cody, because we started at this and we're coming back around to it. So if you loop back around to it for nothing to happen, that's bad even for where they're at creatively right now. But I feel like whether it's Heyman's doing or Randy Orton's doing, like, Cody should be a smart enough champion that he's aware of that. And so I'm going to need some babyface fire promos justifying that kind of thing. Here's a fun fact about me that I don't even know if SP3 knows. I am a Legacy stan. Okay. I loved
Me
Legacy.
Too.
Did you really?
Too.
I love that.
I love the Legacy. I love the theme. I used to listen
so
to the theme song on my way to work.
Banger.
Hell
yeah. They were like, because I got into wrestling in 2009. They were one of the few things that I like really sunk my teeth into. I need more Legacy lore on my television. I think I'm the only person in the world that feels that way. But for me, I want more Legacy lore, because these guys were in a stable together. But more than that, like, so much of Cody's return has been focused on finishing the story that his father started, right? And like, they were in a legacy that was about being second generation wrestlers. So like, I would love for that to bleed onto screen a little bit more. But even though Cody had left WWE, he's known Randy Orton long enough that despite that absence, he should know like how Randy Orton operates. So I just want them to not insult our intelligence in that way, because we've talked about our overarching complaints on this. It feels like when Kevin Owens got injured, the only guy who throughout all of the years has been like, I'm not going to insult the audience's intelligence. That factor left with him when he got injured. Like, it feels like we are back to just like all these creative plot holes and inconsistencies and stuff. So Kevin Owens took that out the door while he's healing up, unfortunately. But I want Cody's a 2-time champion now. He's QB1. Quarterback should see the blitz coming, right? Like, I want to see him be a smarter champion around this time than he was last time. I want him to see the betrayal coming. He should have learned from his lessons with Kevin Owens. He should learn these things, right? So I want him to be smart enough, and I want him to also not be surprised that Paul Heyman is going to try and sow seeds of distrust between the two of them. So this was a perfectly fine promo to open the show, but Heyman says it's a prophecy from the Oracle, not a spoiler anymore. Whoop-de-doo. All that extra parallel jargon of like the Vision, the Oracle. I'm like, is this a tarot deck? Like, get that out of here. I don't need any of that. What I need is a tag team name for the Brons, and it's the one thing we don't have. Give me a name for my Brons. But this was perfectly fine.
The Bron Stars. Come on.
We had Jack Farmer on, who said the Bronsoon the other day, which I really liked, because we have the tsunami with Bronson Reed. Not bad. What did you think of the opening promo before we get to the main event match here?
I thought it was good. It was a regular kind of Heyman steering the pod, trying to be the instigator between Orton and Cody. I liked his delivery of the promo. That was fun, and I like the whole dynamic that they created between Cody and Randy. I'm just I like what they did here. I'm just not that interested. I'll be honest with you. I lost interest in Cody and Randy when they didn't give it to us last year. Like, I thought we were going to that last year. Last year he was staring at the title, and everybody was, oh my God, look at him. He's staring at the title. He's staring at the title and stuff. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. And now we're a year and a half later, and I'm just like, okay, now you want to come back around to it? Now I'm not interested. Now it doesn't make sense to me because Orton doesn't have that many years left in him. He has like 5 years. We'll say we'll be fair with it, and we'll say 5 years. He has 5 years left in the game. He's more over than he's ever been. Why would we want to turn him heel now? Just to tell this one story with Cody? What happens after Cody? Who does he feud with after Cody? Oh, all the people he's already feuded with because Orton's been here for 23 years? Like, no, just keep him baby.
Well, not only that, there is no upward mobility in this product. Like, I've seen all these guys face each other so many times, and we just keep tapping the same well. So I don't need to see everybody just switch dances. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see some fresh talent get brought up into these pictures rather than see these kind of rematches again. But I'm sure we'll get like Randy Orton and I don't know, Morgan Whalen versus someone. Like, I don't know. We need
Orton. We need Orton and Cody to do one tag team matchup where they come out to the Legacy thing.
It would be my match of the year.
It's a new day. It's a new generation. It's a new generation. It's a new day. It's a new day. And we're never coming back. No, we're never coming back. I just remember that part. Don't you ever tell us no. I just remember that.
SP3. Do you know how many of their Legacy fans I've met in all of my time wrestling podcasting? Being a wrestling fan.
You didn't even mention how far of this history between Orton and Cody. Like, I need all the lore because people tend to forget. Cody debuted against Randy. The whole Randy and Dusty feud in 2007 was used as a vehicle to introduce Cody as a wrestler. So, like, his first couple of matches was against Orton, and he was involved heavily in that stream with in that feud with Dusty Rhodes heading into Great American Bash 2007. So, like, they go back way. And then even when when the whole Legacy was being formed, Orton was an absolute dick to Cody. Like, he didn't want to put Cody in Legacy. It made him have to earn his stripes. He's like, you got to earn your stripes. You, Manu, Sim Snuka, and Ted DiBiase.
Ted DiBiase Jr. My God. The chat is saying we need to end the stream because we found a Legacy stanhood that brought us even closer together.
Legacy, man! No. Legacy greater than Nexus.
I love Legacy.
I said it.
Ooh, no, that's a good take. That's a good take. It's a great take. Well, let's talk about this actual match because we got some good stuff in here. This one about 15 minutes, a little over, and then you're not going to believe this, but Seth Rollins shows up. We have Randy dominating early. There was some pretty classic stuff of like Cody being isolated, the heels cutting off tags, using rest holds, using slams, and then Cody being a hot tag is something that will always have a crowd's attention. Like, he's very, very good at that aspect of in-ring storytelling 100% of the time. But down the stretch, we get Cody and Bron brawling through barricades. Randy's lining up for an RKO, but the ref is distracted by Paul Heyman. Another thing that somebody has to learn the lesson of at some point. But that allows Seth Rollins to sneak in and stomp Randy Orton. So I guess we'll be getting that. Feels like we might be headed towards Survivor Series teams in this way. We'll see how that shakes out. But I would be surprised if this heel faction isn't on the bad guy side. And we get Reed crushing Randy with a tsunami for the pin. Some good Bronson Reed news for WWE fans on FightfulSelect.com. He re-signed very quietly a while ago. And he's working towards a new deal, it sounds like, or he's at least in position to be working towards a new deal this year. So good stuff. Like, he locked in for a multi-year deal a while ago, and it just kind of happened quietly and nobody really questioned it. But safe to say he's in a big jump forward from when he resigned in 2022, I think it was. So great news. I love watching Bronson Reed. I always say my hot take is like he's the best member of this faction. Like I love watching Braun Breaker do what he could do. I find Seth, when he's given something to work with, to be a very compelling promo. I love Bronson Reed. Steal all the shoes, tsunami all the people. I'm here for it. But that's our match for tonight and our go home here. What did you think of how we closed our show?
I like your hot take. I don't agree, but I like your hot take. I think
Fair.
I have said that, yeah, Bronson Reed is the one that's gotten the most out of the Vision stable. But like, yeah, I loved his whole tribal thief gimmick and how he's kind of gotten a character out of this whole faction. I think that's worked out nicely for him. I love Braun Breaker and the little teases that we have to him eventually breaking out away from Seth Rollins throughout this. And whenever he goes crazy, it's the best thing ever. Him even doing the Jey Uso run it back. It was hilarious on Monday. I love Braun Breaker in this group. Paul Heyman is one of the greatest talkers of all time. I wish this group would just let him talk more often. Seth Rollins is there. He's a great wrestler. Anyway, the best member of the Vision is Becky Lynch because she's the greatest. She's the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and that's not just me saying it. Becky Lynch says it. Seth Rollins says it. Sports Illustrated says it. Oh, that's me again. Bleacher Report says it. Everyone says it. Everybody's saying it. So Becky Lynch, the best member of the Vision. As far as this matchup, I thought this was really good. You had stars in here, so the crowd was into it the entire way. They kind of told a nice story where, you know, you were thinking about what Paul Heyman had to say and how he was going to be right in the end and how that was going to transpire. Braun Breaker taking out Cody Rhodes, took him out of the picture. It thought you looked like Randy was on his way to victory. Once he hit the Hangman's DDT and he was revving up for the RKO, I was like, where's Seth or a new member of the Vision? I was like, that's it. I was like, it's quite obvious. That's what we're setting up here. Paul Heyman jumped on the apron. I was like, oh, there's Seth. Stomp. And then the tsunami. 1, 2, 3. Good win for the Vision, too. Bronson Reed pinning Randy Orton. That's huge for him. That's a huge win. That's the biggest star he's pinned so far in WWE. So good on WWE for kind of putting a little bit more pressure in regards to pushing the Braun stars with the good wins that they've got as of late, but they needed this win, especially after losing on Monday.
I agree. I just kind of want them to get tag titles because what is the Judgment Day doing with them? So
nothing.
SP3 or get off the pot. That's kind of unintentionally insulting to you if I use your name to sit in for that swear. So my apologies.
Yeah, you know.
Enormous saying, SP3, would you like some sausage? I meant puppet. Where's Miss Kate Felt? Say her name and she appears. I believe in Miss Kate Felt. I believe in Miss Kate Felt. See, she knows how to do an invasion angle. She knows what a run-in looks like. She doesn't get mad that she doesn't want to invade because another promotion has all their titles, and then when they vacate their own title, they have Kalani Jordan come in and take their title. So that seems.
And then they make her the team captain.
And then they make her the team captain. So, guys, we did crank. SP3, thank you so much for jumping on. This would have been so much sadder and lonelier without you. But even on his day off, this man does so many shows, and he still chose not to love himself and to join me tonight. So thank you for putting in the extra hours. You are going to be live tomorrow with Rick Acino, who was at Smackdown with his daughter today. Her first wrestling show, adorable pictures online. But tell them about the Collision Post show. Tell them where people can find you, because it's not just Becky Lynch saying it. It's SP3 saying it for his plugs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kate, for having me. Thank you for asking me to come on, and had a great time. Had a bunch of laughs, had a good times, and some rants. I didn't think I was going to have any rants in me, but it always seems to come out when I'm here on Fightful.
On the bench.
But yes,
I love it.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be live tomorrow morning at 10:05 a.m. Eastern time on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for the True Hill Heat flagship podcast. It'll be myself, Miss Chrissy Love, the True Jaw Josh. We'll talk about this week in wrestling, Andrade's return to AEW, all the fallout from like No Mercy and New Japan Destruction. So join us live for that. And then, like Kate said, tomorrow following Collision, I'll be once again on the post show, this time with Rick Ucchino, talking all about tomorrow night's Collision. So it should be a good one. I hope it's a good one because I'm going to be talking about it. Or I'll just make fun of it and rant.
I mean, that works too. That works around these parts too. That from people that saw it, because it is a pre-tape, there's some meat on the bone for that tomorrow. So join the Collision post show, fellas, tomorrow. You also have Grapsity this weekend. We're figuring out what we're going to do about the Perth show because it starts at like 8 a.m. Eastern, I think. So we will keep you posted about what that is going to look like. I also have some white girl stuff to do that day because I have a bachelorette party. So maybe me and Alex will go on a little bit later, but we're going to figure all that out. But what I can tell you is I ain't watching wrestling at 8 a.m. and talking about it immediately after. So at the very least, we're going to be on some sort of delay because that's not happening at all. But you can catch me at Miss Kate Fabe as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. SB3, thank you for joining me on the shortest notice possible. Very much appreciated. Have a safe and wonderful wrestling weekend. I will also just pull up the charity that Sean donated to. He donates all of the money for his indie appearances that he does to various different foundations. A lot of times it's animal activism. A lot of times it's the Society for Dementia. Let's see what he plays like roulette sometimes with with which he's donating to. The dementiasociety.org. So you can head over there and make a donation if you want. He seems like he had a lot of fun getting his butt kicked by Shotzi today. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
If you like wrestling, watch CMLL. If you like wrestling, watch CMLL. Bandito and Hechicero is about to start in a few.
I just saw Bandito's gear. Thank you to Luis Polito for following that and tweeting it because it looks fire. So head on over and watch some lucha if you please. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.